Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumour was very aggressive. And it very quickly became clear that St. Jude was the ultimate place to be. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learnt even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Magic 92.5 WGHQ. Great songs, magic memories.
Seems it never rains in Southern California. Don't ask me why.
A fresh new mix every hour from Magic 92.5 WGHQ.
All of my love, all of my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. Oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. Oh boy, the whole world can see that you were meant for me. All of my life I've been waiting, tonight there'll be no hesitating, oh boy. Oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. Oh boy, the whole world can see that you were meant for me. Stars appear and the shadows are falling, and you can hear my heart calling. A little bit of loving makes everything right, and I'm gonna see my baby tonight. All of my love, all of my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. Oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. Oh boy, the whole world can see that you were meant for me. Dum dum dum, oh boy, dum dum dum, oh boy. My love, all my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. Oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. Oh boy, the whole world can see that you were meant for me. All of my life I've been waiting, tonight there'll be no hesitating, oh boy. Oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. Oh boy, the whole world can see that you were meant for me. Stars appear and the shadows are falling, you can hear my heart calling. A little bit of loving makes everything right. I'm gonna see my baby tonight. All of my love, all of my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing, oh boy. Oh boy, when you're with me, oh boy. Oh boy, the whole world can see that you were meant for me. I really wanna show you. I really wanna know. Yes, I wanna know you. Yes, I really wanna show you the way I feel. I really wanna know you. I really wanna show you the way I feel. I really wanna know you. Yes, I really wanna show you the way I feel. I really wanna know you. Yeah.
This is the Hudson Valley Station for great songs and magic memories. 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. We're streaming through our website, WGHQ.FM, and you can listen on your smart speaker when you say play WGHQ. This is Magic 92.5 WGHQ with another hour of great songs and magic memories, starting right now.
Good morning. You're now listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ, and our streaming online at mykcr.org. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gatis, and thank you for tuning in, sharing the morning with us, being early birds like us, and being a part of a terrific Tuesday. Tuesday, April 13th, and 43 degrees starting out right now here in Uptown Kingston. Today, sun and clouds mixed. It's going to be a nice day. Nice day. 64 is our high tonight. Variable clouds, low down to 42. Wednesday, partly cloudy in the morning, then overcast during the afternoon. 25% chance of rain later in the day on Wednesday. Wednesday night, showers early, becoming a 90% chance of rain late. And that's a low down to 46 on Wednesday night. Thursday, 100% chance of periods of rain with a high of 49. And Thursday night, 100% chance of rain, a low of 35. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Shirley Stabe from Kingston, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And you're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. Call-in number, your number, 331-9255 to call in and be part of the show. 331-9255. And it's a terrific Tuesday, terrific day. We have a fantastic personality here standing in for and sitting in for Nina Postyapak. Brian Woltman's with us today, and good morning, Cam.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
It's a terrific Tuesday. Good morning. Welcome, Brian.
Good morning. Thank you, Cam. Good to be here.
Yeah, we're mixing it up a little bit.
I'm a poor substitute for Nina Postapak today.
Well,
you're going. It's just a different color.
Certainly a worthy.
It's a different,
and we
a
switched
different
seats, so our attentive viewers
That's
out there
right.
may know.
Oh,
well, that's good because
I asked if the other
Brian
was
usually has
side
a tendency to sit on the left side
Yeah.
because he's a lefty like me.
Oh, there you go.
So you usually take the end of the table.
He's right. You like to have your elbow out.
The left
on
end,
the left.
yeah.
That's cool. I learned that. My nephew's tall and skinny, long arms, and when he's eating, you got to either move over or get bruised up on your arm. So there's no stopping a teenager when he's hungry. So.
No, indeed. Or me.
Or
a 58-year-old adult this morning who had to have his bacon and eggs before he came in here.
Good for you.
There you go.
Yeah, nothing better.
Yep.
I'll tell you, is it fair to say spring has sprung?
Oh, absolutely. And just 3 days, the trees have gone from barely buds to like
They're
leaflets
exploding everywhere.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
that beautiful bright light green. Is it safe to say that we can start planting?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
So.
Okay.
Although,
Well, it depends on what you're planting. Asparagus.
high Catskills might
Yeah,
get
maybe,
some
right.
snow.
Yeah,
I saw,
Thursday.
a little bit of some flurrying. Yeah, not bad, but I guess there's enough upper atmosphere cold air wrapping around the storm that there could be some snow, some white caps in the morning we might see. So
Right. I haven't
That'd be
been
cool.
up there.
It'd be like we're in L.A. looking at the San Gabriel Mountains.
Yeah,
with the
there
white
you are.
caps, and we're safe in the warm weather.
I wouldn't mind checking that view out right now. A week vacation out west would be nice.
It was. I'm just coming off a week's vacation.
Right.
I was off
Did
last week.
you do anything? Staycation?
It was a staycation. I haven't been traveling anywhere. I find it's interesting for me. I don't know. TSA under ordinary circumstances getting on a plane is difficult enough. I just can't imagine an extra layer of COVID protocols. I'm sure that are in place. So you know what? I haven't traveled anywhere.
There
but
you go.
I was off last week. It was, by the way, the weather was gorgeous all week last week. It was perfect. I got a lot done around my house. Was able to play some golf, watch the Masters tournament. Just a really
that's a great.
nice respite.
I didn't. Everyone watches the final round on Sunday, but that young kid from California, Zalatoris or no?
Zalatoris.
Well, I like that kid. He looks like Spicoli.
He does.
Because that long, young Sean Penn, he's got that long nose, just a long feature on his face.
He played really well.
Now, all right, you're a golfer.
Yeah.
While I was sitting there, I Googled him, and several people, including like big names, said he is probably the best ball striker on the tour.
Right.
What exactly does that mean?
Ball strike. Well, it's the contact you make with the golf ball.
I mean, if it goes far and straight, isn't that good contact?
Exactly. And you know what? That's harder. That's easier said than done.
Being
but
once-a-year golfer, no.
Yeah, your statistics are your results of where how many fairways you hit, how many greens you hit in regulation. It's all compiled like that.
Okay.
Like for example, on a par 4, to hit, which are most golf holes are on a course are a par 4. It's considered hitting a green in regulation if it takes you 2 shots to land your ball on the green. So a player that consistently does that well is considered a good ball striker.
Okay, thank you.
And also like on par 3, a green regulation or GIR, the abbreviated. That is on a par 3 ordinarily it would be 1 shot to get on the green, and a par 5 would be 3 shots to get on the green. That's considered a green regulation. So interestingly enough, when I do play golf, that's one of the things I keep track of, aside from my score, which I sometimes need an abacus, a computer, and take off my shoes.
Your buddy's fingers, too.
Yeah,
right?
but I like to keep track of how many greens in regulation. For 18 holes for myself, I always set a goal between 9 and 10 greens and regulations over a round. That helps. By just accomplishing that, you're going to lower your score.
Something else to think about, too. Mm-hmm. All right, that's interesting. Thank you for clarifying that, because I couldn't wrap my head around it was just the fact of how his club contacts the ball.
Well, that's part of it.
But it's the
result of the shot.
Yeah, the results. So thank you. That makes things a lot.
So, yeah, he's quite
young,
talented.
24.
Yeah.
He hits the long ball, too. And
he does. And I guess now at the conclusion of the tournament, the world golf rankings, he came out of nowhere, but now he's ranked 27th in the world.
Huh.
He had a paycheck of over $1 million for
Not too shabby.
finishing in second place.
Not too
That's not a
shabby,
bad
though.
runner-up prize, is it? Over $1 million.
24 years
Not a
old?
bad gig for a 24-year-old.
Yeah. Unlike
But your
Spicoli,
talent.
I guess he can afford to go surfing with the Stones now.
Exactly. Now, knock on wood.
Jam with the Stones.
Knock on wood, injuries or many misbehavior on his part. I can't see this kid being around for a long time. So
But here's the thing: golf is a hard sport. It's a hard sport to break into. You look at some of the top players in the world. For instance, Ricky Fowler. There's a name everybody knows. Even if you just watch television, he's in a zillion commercials. I mean, he's a very well-known golfer. He didn't qualify for the Masters tournament this year.
yeah, he's cooled
It's
off
just
a lot.
there's so many young, talented players, and I was listening to a program earlier, and the fellow was saying, people are pegging him now to break into the top 10. Well, if he's going to break into the top 10, who's going to get knocked out of the top
Who's he
10
displacing?
and go
Yeah.
down the list of that top 10? And good luck trying to pick who.
Yeah, pretty much they've all won a Masters or a major.
And that's the other thing too. Everybody talks about it's only a matter of time before someone wins a major golf tournament. Well, there are only 4 a year, and by the time you get to you can talk about 8 or 9 players that the next 5 years are going to win a major. Well, you're talking about 20-something majors already, but there's only 4 a year. And then you get a year like this year where someone who's no one picked. He was a 41 or 61, between 40 and 60 to 1 shot
the winner?
to win. Hideki Matsuyama. And by the way, a great thing for Japan.
Nice golfer.
He's been for a long time. There you go. There's a great example. He qualified for the Masters tournament. He won the Asia Pacific Amateur. It was an innovation that Augusta National actually came up with. They have a Latin American amateur competition. They have an Asian Pacific amateur competition. Hideki Matsuyama won that tournament. Came to Augusta, I think 2011. I might be right around there, 2010, 2011, and won the low amateur in the Masters.
Oh yeah, I saw that graphic.
Yeah,
there's only a handful of guys that have done that. They showed them.
Right. So
and every one of those guys that won the low amateur and then come back to win as a pro. I mean, it's a who's who in golf.
Oh,
Ben Crenshaw,
Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was a 3-time U.S. amateur champion. Phil Mickelson.
And all those guys are all in the Hall of Fame, or will be, or whatever.
Yeah, they will be.
Is there a golf Hall of Fame?
Yeah, they do have a golf Hall of Fame. It's in St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, but the criteria you have to be, I think, over. No, it can't be because Phil just turned 50, and he's been in quite a while. But I forget what the exact criteria is. Usually, it's
50.
He just turned 50. Usually, the criteria ordinary for standard for someone to get into the Golf Hall of Fame is that you win 2 major tournaments, and combined with 10 PGA championships, and that's pretty much an automatic entry to the Golf Hall of Fame. But you know what? Everybody can be in the Golf Hall of Fame by simply getting out and playing. And I tell you, COVID it's caused a lot of difficulties for us. Obviously, it's hurts a lot of segments of the economy, but golf right now is booming.
Golfing, fishing, and biking have exploded.
Yes, because any individual sport like that you can take
outdoor.
It's outdoor.
Yeah.
It's just really been
I mean, in the beginning of last summer, you couldn't find a bicycle or a fishing pole.
I know.
Anywhere. I mean, you go to Walmart and they usually have 2 aisles full of fishing stuff, and there were empty pegs and.
Are you a fisherman?
Yes. I'm saying a reluctant yes. I fish pretty frequently, but a lot. But it's more. I don't do a lot of catching. I do a lot of fishing. So.
I haven't fished for quite a while. My son and I, when he was younger, we used to go to the reservoir. We had a standing routine where on Friday nights we would go up to the reservoir. But you would turn and by the reservoir inn. You go by the and there's the flat rocks there. We would go down and pull out sunnies, and I used to take him there. Only we weren't landing trophy fish, but he was constantly busy pulling out little sunnies.
As long as you're catching something.
And send it back. I looked back on it fondly. It was a good time for us. Like I said, that was our standing Friday night thing. Mom would be home cooking dinner, and we would just run up to the reservoir for an hour or so. And that's another thing about living here where we do. I live in, I guess what would be called Midtown Kingston, but within 20 minutes from leaving the house, we're, as my dad would say, wet in the line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wet in the line,
And you've passed, in that drive, you've passed 3 or 4 places where you could have fished.
Yes,
you know.
yeah, but that was easy. It was a good place, safe place to park.
You knew it was productive.
And it was just down a short trail. And my son at the time didn't have a lot of patience he wanted to get to where he was going, and we
There's
got him
some
there
spots
quick.
on the shore of the reservoir that are just absolutely beautiful.
The reservoir is gorgeous.
Rocks and there's like little coves with like little beaches, and you walk around some of the perimeter of that reservoir while you're fishing. It's gorgeous. It's like, man.
Now you have a reservoir permit.
Oh yeah. It's
funny. I have one now, but at the time I had what was called the lifetime reservoir permit. If you recall, it was issued for your life.
Hey, you know what? For our listeners, how do you get a reservoir permit?
Okay, I think the easiest way to do it now would go on to the New York City DEP, Department of Environmental Protection. I think the easiest way to do it would Google NYC DEP, and I think on there they would have a link to drill down and get an application and apply.
It's not bad. You can fill out your name, rank, and serial number, and you can print out a tag. You have to hang a tag in your hang tag and a little wallet card.
Although back in the day, you had to go to their headquarters when I got my first one. Had
the
to
aerators.
Up to the aerators and go in there and actually fill out. We're talking about the early 1980s.
Yeah, and see them, and actually go see them.
You had to go in there, fill out an application.
But additionally, you need your regular New York State fishing license.
On top of that.
To get a reservoir permit. The reservoir permit's the next layer.
Does the reservoir permit let you use the boats that
No, those are all private.
They're all
rowboats
private?
only, no motors, no electric motors, no
absolutely. No motor.
Yeah.
But,
it's not easy.
Because I have a great friend that lives on 28A, and, now and then we'll just walk down to the shores, and there's a lot of the same kind of boat, always,
rowboats mostly.
Overturned and ready to use, and just was. I was
but
wondering
they got to
if you
be
guys
registered.
knew about that. They're registered.
The boats in the reservoir have to be registered with a visible ID, the serial number and all that.
Okay, so you got to get an additional permit for rowing.
If you're gonna have a boat, right?
Yeah.
I've never been out of the boat on the reservoir.
No, me neither.
I'm always a little bit afraid because it was a small boat in the deep water.
And there's always a breeze up there.
Yeah, there is. That's actually one of the nice things about it.
I'd like to put a little sailboat in there, actually.
Yeah. I don't know if
Great
they would
view.
permit that, though. Yeah.
I doubt
speaking of views, the Ashokan Rail Trail, anyone who gets a chance now to
try to
Ashokan Rail Trail.
Try to go during the week because weekends
are packed. But
that
whole north shore of the reservoir. Obviously, I've lived here in Kingston all my life. I've been to the reservoir countless times, aerators from a small child up. But I was never familiar with that north side of the reservoir, and the views from that side of the reservoir are spectacular. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't recommend it highly enough. Anybody to get up there and enjoy the Ashokan Rail Trail that was put in, opened 2 years ago now.
Right.
There was a lot of work when I was in the legislature. We had a lot of work at the end of that project, getting it finished, and it just was. I actually had gotten a sneak peek of it before it was open. That I rode in a Jeep the length of it.
Oh really?
Before it was while some of it was still under construction.
Yep,
I had
that's
an
cool.
opportunity to do that. And the only whetted my appetite to go back up and see it when it was finished. It's tremendous.
The rail trails are just blowing up.
Yeah, they are.
I find oftentimes, as you say, the Ashokan Rail Trail might be a little bit too populated. And
what a problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. and for the whole 28 corridor, it's just incredible boom for everybody who has businesses along there. Of course, and they're new people. They're people that are coming up from who knows where. All over, absolutely, and not just us, not just us Kingstonians, but the new Wallkill area trails starting right up at Route 32 and Greenkill, just a little bit
Yeah.
beyond.
Rockwell Road there. Yep.
Right.
They resurfaced all that.
Yep. And it's just stunning.
Yeah.
It's they're all stunning.
I hadn't driven. I hadn't driven down Route 32 south in a while, a couple weeks ago, but the solar farm they're putting in just past. Well, it was Hoppenstedt's Vet Hospital, going south on 32, the same side. I guess it's in the front of that one nitrolite quarry that's there. Ginormous, like the biggest solar field. It's got to be at least as big as the one in the town of Ulster in the old dump. It's ginormous. I didn't know it was going in. Whatever, it's better use for property than, just a wasteland now, a former industrial site. You know,
it's interesting. Dan mentioned about the new people moving into the area. A lot of people don't realize right now, though, is that when the census data came in from the 2020 census, our population actually decreased.
Down? I believe it.
Ulster County's population is down by about 3,000 people.
Ulster County, yeah. City of Kingston's been very stable, too.
But actually, though, the point I'm trying to make, though, it's the first time in my life that the Ulster County's population has decreased.
Well,
it's
there's
the first time in
still
our
a
lives,
major flight south with retirees. And,
well, there is, and the people, a lot of like, for example, in my neighborhood, a family bought a home, and it's their second home. They're a couple from Texas, and they come up to visit their daughter here in the summertime, so they bought the house that's behind me on Abbey Street.
You have a caller?
Yeah, a listener wanted me to relay the beaver ponds around Ashokan Reservoir.
Yeah, there are.
Yes, and the ones also up on Chopinique. Up on Chopinique Lake.
The beaver ponds up there?
Yeah, very active.
Which I'm not
very
familiar.
active.
Yeah, that's a Chopinique Ridge. That's a nice little spot up there.
It sure is, and it's very active beaver pond, beaver activity there, and beaver activity in Ashokan, and some really nice beaver activity to just kind of like watch and be amazed at the Onteor Lake.
You come to my camp, dang beavers
At
got like
Onteor.
10 acres flooded. They're cool to watch and everything, but they're vermin.
They are landscape
destructive.
changers. They are definitely change agents.
The only
with
animal.
nature.
Well, I want to forget my other point here. There's the only animal other than humans to physically manipulate the environment
Exactly.
to suit themselves. And there's a lake in like Saskatchewan or Manitoba or something up there, a beaver dam lake. They said it's been there probably like 10,000 years. And it's like visible from space. The valley that they built and flooded, with silting and reforestation. It's like, it like rivals like the Three Gorges Dam in China, like the amount of
course,
stuff they've done.
In a large sense, the beaver population is what built New York in a sense. John Jacob Astor, the Astor fortune was originally built on beaver pelts.
Yeah.
Beaver
That's
pelts
right.
were highly desirable by the Dutch settlers because in Holland they were considered a very valuable commodity to get the beaver pelts. And, and to this very day, there's a subway stop in Manhattan, Astor Place.
Absolutely, Astor Place.
And
yes.
if you go to Astor Place, on the wall of the design and on the subway walls, there's beaver.
Oh, really?
There are it's a series of beavers, doing various activities.
Yeah.
And a beaver hat, too.
Right. So
That's cool.
Interestingly enough, that they were a commodity that helped. That the Dutch exploited here while.
Yeah.
They-
Well,
when
the
they
fur
first settled.
trappers, they were some of the first European settlers to encounter Native Americans and
To be here.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, a lot of people don't realize this. Down at Kingston Point Beach, where the parking lot is flooded all the time, part of the problem there's a beaver dam. There's a little inlet that, as you drive into Kingston Point Beach from Delaware Avenue, you actually cross over a little bridge.
Yeah,
and there's an inlet there.
A little rivulet there.
And over years, the beavers have dammed up, and that's part of the cause. I've heard people say it has to do with global warming or climate change, and there may be some pieces of truth to that. But the primary cause...
Dang beavers.
And we had a city engineer a number of years ago, John Kwok. He was a city engineer. He and his assistant at the time, because when this was first occurring, we're like, we got to get to the bottom of this. This lot was built and it was dry for years. Now it's
the one below the
floods.
BMX track.
Correct.
Yeah, that corner.
It's a pond all the time.
Yeah, because there's a little. But to get in there, you go over a little culvert. That
Right.
little culvert back in there has been jammed. There's a beaver dam back there.
Okay, that makes sense because of the way the foliage and vegetation grows and dies. And
So
is
yeah,
in the
we had,
swamp,
like I said, city, and they went and they got to the bottom. They cleaned it out at one point, and it.
A week later, it'll be
problem.
backed
Well,
up.
within a couple of years again, it was back to the same issue.
Yeah.
And
You got to constantly
it still
do
is
that.
all these years, but that's something that hopefully can be addressed soon
Yeah.
because you got to think that stagnant water with mosquitoes can't be.
And it's destroying the parking lot, taking away.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
sounds
it-
like the parking lot will probably need to be elevated.
But
Either that or turn it into a wetland and just give up on it.
True.
Bigger
I mean,
culvert.
it's we've gone all these years without people parking there. Maybe
We've lived without it.
yeah,
At
maybe
the dog park
maybe
and everything. Yeah.
a sensible way to we contain it some way, make it a little wetland, and have your parking where it's ever else it's available. But that's not my decision.
Or convince the beaver to get out of there. One or the other. That's
Get
not
the
gonna
Astors up here.
That's right.
Make beaver
We're
hats.
back in fashion.
Let's get Holland calling and say we'll trade you tulips for beaver pelts
Oh,
again.
there you go.
Speaking of tulips, they're all blooming. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Cam. A lot of people talk about their favorite time, their very favorite seasons of the year, their very favorite time of the year. My favorite time of the year are the months we're in just now. April, May, and June are my three favorite months of the year. Only because every day is brighter. You're getting increasing daylight every day. Looking out that window, seeing the
leaves start
leaves
to
that
bud
start
out.
to bud, the bright green, the rich green of it.
I think it's
just-
cool.
I don't know. I love it. The flowers.
The 30-degree temperature swing from morning to afternoon. I think that's amazing. There's not a lot of places on earth that happens.
No, it isn't. By the way, I almost wore my Giants pullover.
Yeah, so you got the other NY.
At the last second, I went and pulled the Yankees out because they won last night.
This is the only one that doesn't have dog hair all over it. So.
You have dogs?
A dog, yeah. White,
okay.
Of course, a white dog, so it's got long,
sure.
straight white
Okay.
hair. So, yeah.
So I got that a couple weeks ago during the radiothon, which I hope was successful. I didn't hear a tally on it.
Yes.
I stopped in for a little bit, and you were kind enough to give me a jug of syrup, which I used last Tuesday on my pancakes when I was off. That's one thing about nice being off when you're in a staycation. You can wake up in the morning and say, what would I like for breakfast? What would I really like?
There you go.
Pancakes. There's time to make them and
Reading the
enjoy.
paper.
Exactly. But I want to ask you, because I don't think I did, where's your sugar bush? Where do you
It's
draw the
on
maple syrup?
at my camp, which is
Okay.
actually in Dutchess County, right off of the shortcut to the Taconic, Slate Quarry, Bull's Head.
Yeah.
Right where Slate Quarry turns to Bull's Head on top of the hill. County Road 18 comes in, Center Road. I'm about a half mile down there.
I see. Okay.
Around the corner from the Omega Institute.
Yeah, I know where. Yeah, I knew Omega Institute's over there.
So I mean, it was an old it was a camp in the 40s, 50s, 60s. So it was actually a Jerry Lewis camp before my organization.
Is that right?
Yeah, like Jerry's kids.
Hello, lady.
Yeah, I mean, they're in my shop. There's a big old tin sign with his profile on it.
Oh wow, that's
Muscular,
probably a collectible.
Muscular Dystrophy Association. Camp Breyer.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is cool. People forget, Jerry. There is someone who was a megastar. It is interesting
Those
how
telethons?
things are fleeting. Oh, I was never a fan of Jerry Lewis
God, they
Telethon.
were
Not
the
that the show was bad, but that when it was over, it was back to school.
They were taking up there's only 8 channels back then, and they were taking up one of them for the whole weekend.
Well, in Kingston, they would take up two because we would have Channel 8 was a WRGB. It used to be Channel 6. Because I remember when
Albany
only had 13 channels.
Yeah.
So it took up the Albany channel, and I think it also took up Channel 9, WOR,
yeah, New York.
on New York. So you could flip between both. You could watch the telethon on two channels.
I
but-
remember being, oh man, this
But
stupid telephone.
I just the only thing about it was I used to like Channel 6 because they had the ring of lights, and when the lights made a full circle, that meant every operator
that's
every
cool.
operator had
I
a phone
remember
call,
that.
and which we have a phone call. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I was asking about the muddy waters that come down to the surface, and I was wondering if it's coming from the Gilboa Dam, comes out there to the reservoir.
It's coming from the Ashokan Reservoir. I can speak to a little bit of that. It's turbid water that the New York City Department of Environmental Protection is releasing from the reservoir into the Esopus Creek. This was an issue several years ago. In fact, several years ago on the old Google Earth image, you would be able to follow this brown plume from the reservoir all the way down through the lower Esopus and into the Hudson. You'd see it actually flow deeply into the Hudson River. That's why it's of concern to some of the communities along the river which draw their drinking water from the reservoir. Named in our region here, Port Ewan. And it's definitely a concern there. That's the one thing about the DEP. They have overarching rights over local governments here, and it's really a pity what's happening with the reservoir right now. And it's completely man-made. It's completely controlled by the city of New York, DEP. And it's really a problem. I would urge anyone who has that concern about this to definitely contact. I would recommend your state representatives. In this case, it would be, for us here, it would be Assemblyman Kevin Cahill and Senator Michelle Hinchy, and express your extreme concern about this, because it definitely is a problem. It affects the quality of life for everyone who lives along the shores of the lower Esopus, and it affects
what about what lives in the Esopus?
And I was just getting
Fish,
there. And
turtles, frogs. They
affects the natural habitat there.
That's like the equivalent of breathing like a forest fire air. When you breathe water,
it's a
right?
Problem. Yeah.
Clear water over your gills. Now it's like filled with silt, and imagine being a little fish, man. They're running roughshod. They're doing whatever the hell they want.
And a lot of there is a point of view that it's unnecessary, and it's an extreme measure that the DEP is taking. So, do you live near the lower Esopus, ma'am?
Pardon me?
Do you live near the lower Esopus?
I don't live at it. I live in Saugerties and that, but I pass by it all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
There's the fish in it, and even the reservoir. Years ago, when my husband was alive, we used to go up there, or we'd have a license to be on there. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling. We're at the bottom of the hour. We have to take our break, but thank you for bringing up what is definitely a concern. And have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brian Woltman and Cam Rylance, and thank you, caller, for such a incisive question. You're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, on AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. My name is Dan Gaddis, and it is 7:30 a.m., and it's Tuesday, April 13th, 43 degrees here in uptown Kingston. Today's going to be a mix of sun and clouds. Enjoy the day. High of 64. Tonight, variable clouds, a low down to 42. Wednesday, partly cloudy in the morning, then overcast in the afternoon. A 25% chance of rain in the later afternoon on Wednesday. And tomorrow night, Wednesday night, showers early, becoming a 90% chance of rain later in the night, and it's a low of 46. Thursday, we wake up to a 100% chance of periods of rain, with a high of 49, and it continues through Thursday night with a 100% chance of rain and a low around 35. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Haley Kiyoko, and I know what it's like to struggle with mental health issues. If you have a friend that's going through a tough time, now is the perfect moment to reach out. Learn how to start the conversation at seizetheawkward.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Hi, my name's Maggie. I'm from Copiague, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. It's Tuesday, April 13th. Good morning, and it's 43 degrees starting out here in Uptown Kingston. Our call-in number, thank you for calling, 331-9255. That is your number to be a part of the conversation. 331-9255. Now let's return back with Brian Woltman and Cameron Rylance, and we've got Dan Whalen ready and up and ready.
All right. Thank you, Dan.
Good morning.
And
good morning, listeners.
Dan, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good. As you heard the intro, Nina's out for the day, and Brian Woltman is taking over her co-hosting. So,
Dan, I think you might know my brother Harry Woltman.
Yeah, absolutely. Harry's the guy. I've known him forever.
I believe he still serves on your board.
Yep. Yes, he worked a long time with my grandmother in the high school.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Who's your grandmother?
Nan Whalen.
What did she do?
She was a monitor in the high school for, I think, 50 years.
So how goes things? School's going to be, starting up on Monday, the 19th, back in session. Is that going to change your life at all for the better?
Well, let me tell you how it changed my life in the short term this morning. I've never been happier and never been less upset about being stuck behind a school bus.
I like that.
I'll never be mad at it again. It'll never bother me.
It's progress, right?
Yes. Yeah. I know. We have pubs, in both Kingston and Saugerties. Saugerties Elementary went back. They're both shifting on different schedules. But yes, by the end of the month, from what I understand, hopefully everyone will have the opportunity to go back who would like to go back.
Yeah, well, in Saugerties. I know Kingston is starting everyone back on the 19th, right?
Yeah, yep. It's a bit of a juggle, juggling all. And, I always kind of, before I go and confirm things for other people, you never know what happens. So, the plan is to be getting kids back this month.
Yeah. Now, I believe kids do have the option of staying remote. Is that true? And if so, are you going to keep your extended daytime hours?
From what I understand, they do have the option. On our end, we are looking forward to getting back to our regular model. We'll be moving forward and getting back to our normal model, our non-extended model by the end of the month. We've really seen a decline in our population this month because a lot of kids have been getting pushed back 4 days. They're opening it up. Kids with higher needs, kids that are struggling, kids that don't have the same resources. So a lot of our kids have been heading back over the last month.
All right.
Dan, the Boys and Girls Club, that's located on Greenkill Avenue here in Kingston, right?
Correct.
And what's the, if you don't mind, even though I've talked with Harry a little bit about it, what is the mission statement of the Kingston Boys and Girls Club? What is the primary goal and the purpose?
Yeah, and it's a good question because there's kind of two layers I usually kind of say. First off, Boys and Girls Club, the mission of the Boys and Girls Club is to provide a safe place that enables youth, to really strive for their goals, reach their potentials, and, give them the opportunity to live successful lives in our community. And that's kind of like the blanket, what all Boys and Girls Clubs, in America do. But, for those who aren't familiar, Boys and Girls Clubs are autonomous, all autonomous clubs. So we're all on our own. We all do our own thing. We all look very, very different and are in different places. So our personal, for our Boys and Girls Club, Ulster County, Kingston and Saugerties, it's to really provide a platform for success. Our youth don't always have the same platform that other youth have in the community. And we want to make sure that they do have that platform and have experiences that they may not get and hopefully spark an interest in an area, let them explore that and see if that's something that they want to take on as a hobby or as a career for the rest of life. So, that's really, in our club, our real mission is not, the first and primary mission is to provide the safe place and to make sure that, kids have proper opportunities, but then also to kind of find what sparks them and hopefully push them down those avenues.
And Dan, when I think of the Boys and Girls Club, as just a member of the community, I think I've been in there once or twice. I think of it as kind of a recreation center. But it sounds like to me there's much more to it than that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Of course, sports and rec is a big part of this club. But no, I mean, we go down so many different avenues. We after school programming, homework help. We've developed great communication with both school districts over the last couple years about diving deeper into more of a case study on our kids. Making sure that they're doing what they need in school and linking with them. Also, we have so many programs on arts, art in general, dance. We've provided some theater opportunities for our kids. And beyond that, service clubs. One of my favorite parts of the club is not only do we help our kids grow and progress, but teach them that we're helping you. Your job is to go help someone else. So we often have club service, community service activities. There's a plethora. We do environmental activities. We really run the gamut, and we're always looking for more opportunities and more ways to provide opportunities for our youth to learn new things and be exposed to new experiences.
Now, what's the normal pathway for a youth to come into connection with the Boys and Girls Club? If I was a parent of a young child, maybe an 8 or 9 year old young girl, and I thought she could benefit from the Boys and Girls Club, what's the approach? How do they contact your organization?
Yeah, well, we're really open to a couple different pathways. To be honest, the large percentage, we're so centrally located in a densely populated area that most people swing by and grab an application and fill it out. It's really like old school, the most effective way. But we've also uploaded. We have membership applications on our website. People call and inquire, email. It's really whatever way works best. We're here for.
That's great. Now, the Boys and Girls Club here in Kingston, is there a service area that they draw from, or is it is it limited to people who live in the city or attend Kingston Schools Consolidated?
No, it's open. I mean, we're open to anyone who thinks that they could benefit from our services. We do have a pretty wide range of kids, especially with proximity to the high school, right? Because Kingston City School District draws from such a far reach,
right?
That and kids find their way here one way or another.
Gotcha.
And then in Saugerties, you're actually in the schools, the after school program.
Right.
So that's
in Saugerties, we have 3
bigger
after school sites in elementary schools as well as a clubhouse on Partition Street.
Get back what Brian asked a minute ago about your mission a little bit. You're really making a concerted effort to extend the age of your outreach to kids, right? More teen programming, that type of thing. What kind of inroads are you making there?
And that's part of our move right now, Cam. Is in general, as per our national organization, our local organization has one of the highest percentage of teen populations in the nation. So we do a good job of keeping our kids engaged through their teen years. And as we know, this is the age that has the largest need, but the least services, because so much is centered around childcare when kids are younger, because parents need the relief. But I mean, especially through the pandemic, it really exposed how much our teens really need and how difficult it is for them, and just they need more services. So we lock in on that. We've been running programs. We have our cooking program going strong. One of our real focuses moving forward is going to be workforce development and career readiness, is getting kids in the proper pathway for whether it's college or whether it's a workforce, and try to do what we can to best further our youth and provide them opportunities to be successful in our community, not necessarily have to leave.
Yeah, you've had some. I don't know what experiment with like job training stuff, or I'm trying to think, real life skills, career development type thing. Can you talk a little about maybe some of that?
Yeah, for sure. We really just started to touch base. Of course, we've gotten slowed down over the last 13 months, but we're really turning the corner on bringing in programs that give a specific skill set to jobs that are available in Ulster County or careers that are available in Ulster County. Like I said, the one I just spoke of was cooking. And hospitality is such a huge economic driver in the Hudson Valley that it's not even just about necessarily that skill, but teaching you something that makes you want to go into that place and learn more about that, and you can spin off to so many different angles and jobs. Also technology and marketing. We started a marketing group here where we had our kids using iPads and, recording groups and games and stuff. And we had a volunteer come in there teaching them how to cut and edit. These are skills that when kids get right out of high school, they can really, really, be successful right away at a good career field.
So we're chatting with Dan Whalen. He's the director of the Boys and Girls Club here in Kingston.
And
Saugerties. Dan, you just mentioned about volunteers. Are there volunteer opportunities for people in our area if they felt there was something they would like to do to help the Boys and Girls Club accomplish their mission? Are there volunteer opportunities, and you seek or try to recruit local volunteers?
Yeah, we do. I mean, there's always opportunities to volunteer down a bunch of different pathways. Sometimes it's even volunteering just to make a connection in the community that we follow through on.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean, we had before the pandemic, we linked with SUNY Newport, and we had a professor from a class, Sue Books. She hooked us up with kids from her education and poverty class, and we actually had 6 interns coming to help with our after-school education program. So things like that are crucial. The more when we have volunteers that are geared down an avenue and they want to come in and do something, not only does it provide a new experience for our youth, but it frees up our staff to get a little more one-on-one on other situations. Right? If we got 20 kids doing after-school homework help and we have 2 staff, there's only so much you can do if you have 2 staff and 6 volunteers.
Right. So if someone were interested maybe in volunteering and maybe if they were a retired teacher or someone that thought they would like to help with an after-school program, how would they get in touch with you, Dan?
Yeah, the easiest way, honestly, because you want to also have a little conversation about it.
Yep.
Exactly what our program is, exactly what we need, exactly what you want to do, because you always want to make sure that a volunteer is understands what they're going to be doing,
sure,
so that they're comfortable and that they stay. Because what you don't want is to come in, meet someone for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden that person leaves.
Of course.
That's the one thing that we don't want to happen. So, I mean, the best way to do it is to call and have a conversation about it. Our staff, myself, and our director of operations, Ann Chris Warren, who coordinates a lot of that stuff. Our offices are at the Kingston Club, which number is 338-8666.
Okay, 338-8666.
Yep.
Now, Dan, have you had any interaction with Bard?
Oh, yes.
Bard College?
Actually, the Brothers at Bard program is a great program that runs out of Kingston High School. It's a mentorship program, essentially. I don't want to speak too much about their program, without having full knowledge. But I mean, just from my relationship with them, and it's really mentors kids targeted at our demographic of kid, and helps to give them opportunities just like we do. And actually, Brothers at Bard started at the Boys and Girls Club. And then it took off, and the guys did such a great program that it's actually evolved and moved into the high school. And there was also a sister-to-sister program run by Bard students. Yes. So the short answer, yes.
Yeah, that's good because, I mean, it was reported in the Freeman that they just got, a matching $250 million matching gift to their endowment from George Soros. And part of that was based on Bard's current and their plans to expand their community outreach. And interaction and community development and outreach. So hopefully there's more opportunity for that moving forward. That's an incredible institution over there.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
has there been any movement with the house next door to you, or the future center there, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, they're going through their process. I believe they're going to start doing the physical construction work over the next couple months. It'll take a couple more months, and stuff like that. I know that we're going to be circled back and have conversations with about what we can do, what things might be going there, and how there could be opportunities there for our kids as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, not any further than where we were before, but I do know that there's motion physically that is about to be happening.
Well, which is good because trying to find a contractor or a tradesperson is dang near impossible. There's so much work going on out there. People are so busy.
Yep. So, Dan, if you don't mind my ask to jump in here, what's the plan for that? How closely associated will that be with the Boys and Girls Club?
Oh, it's a good question. So the plan for that is that looking to target the population that seems to be, especially as you see through this, seems to be the most vulnerable right now. And there seems to be the least guidance. So, when the property was purchased next door, right away they had held community conversations. They came right to us right away and said, "Hey, what do you think, the need is?" And one of my inputs was that, one of my struggles is I have kids that still need services, and they're 19 years old and they've aged out of club. They're not ready to be fully on their own, and they just need help and guidance. And, my kids will come during the day before, the younger kids get there, use a computer, ask how this, look for jobs, look for colleges. And it's like we need that little more boost to see kids through and to see families through, because everyone needs support. So it's going to really lock in on that older age group and even dip a little younger, that transitional 16 to 24, I believe-ish age group, and just help to continue the guidance that we started.
Again, we're chatting with Dan Whalen, the executive director of the Ulster County Boys and Girls Club of Ulster County, Kingston, and Saugerties.
I'm going to have trouble articulating this perhaps, but, we're talking about job training and kids coming in, that 19-year-olds who still need a hand. To me, it's having a bunch of jobs in my life and having hired and fired people. It's not so much exact skills that you need to know, but it's more of the concept of having a job and what a job is. And trying to portray that, I try to do that with my own son, that, it's just because you work 8 to 5, you don't get there at 8, you can't be walking in the door, the way to present yourself to an employer, the way to act at a job, the way, how to, compartmentalize your life and your job, those seem sort of, esoteric or ethereal things, but they're actually, concrete things you need to know about. I mean, you can get a job in a hardware store, a pizza shop, or a, mechanic's garage. You can learn any of those skills, but it's to being receptive to being an employee. Do you know what I mean? And that, to me, is like, if you could just get that thought into young people, that it would be extremely helpful. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and that's what we're kind of saying here. It's not necessarily to just the guidance needs to continue, right? So that's where it gets tough. Even I remember, being younger out here in this community. It's like once you're 19, it's figure it out. You're an adult. But some of us still need some more guidance, and there's some more development to happen. I'm lucky to have made the decision to go to SUNY Ulster, and I got my grounding before I left for a 4-year school. And I don't believe I would have been successful if I went to 4. I wouldn't have been ready for all that. But I got I built some foundation educationally at Ulster, which allowed me to be successful in the next place. So it's the same thing with jobs and workforce, right? We still need to guide people and give them that stepping stone that leads them into success. We can't just tell them to be successful. We have to lead them there.
Yeah. But, I mean, when you think back, did you have someone in your family or your circle pushing you to, prodding you on?
I had a good support system, but no, not necessarily in any direction.
Yeah.
I made the decision to go to Ulster, venture different avenues, and then decided where I wanted to go. And it wasn't always easy. Yeah. It wasn't always good, but you had to find your way.
But why I asked that was sort of, a lot of people don't have someone in their quote unquote in their corner, encouraging them to move on or try to do better. And that's something that sadly in our community, our culture right now, a lot of kids don't have that, with between working parents and broken homes and whatever the situation, you Dan, as an individual, and your organization are that person in the corner, and you think about it that way, your mission gets more important, the more you think about it.
Yeah, and it's something me and our staff takes pride in, to be honest. Like, I know I'm very fortunate. You'll hear me always say, as long as I keep this staff is 100% vested into this mission. And every single person goes above and beyond, to make sure that we are here for the right causes and that we're helping our kids.
No.
Like you said, it's just a little bit more guidance, and that's what we're here to do.
Trying to be a big brother or a big sister to these kids, a positive role model, mentor. That's admirable work, my man.
Dan, a lot of organizations, I would imagine, such as the Boys and Girls Club, have been impacted by this pandemic in such a way that it's really had a effect on the ability to fundraise. I guess a lot of places a lot of places that I know of have lost their, temporarily so, lost their primary method of fundraising during this time. Has that been an impact on the Boys and Girls Club with this? And if a person wanted to help the Boys and Girls Club, how would they go about making a donation to your organization?
Oh, it's a great question. So, yes, last year we took a significant hit on fundraising. Our organization total revenue is about 50% fundraising. So we have a dedicated board and community supporters that are by the club side and always has been, and that's how we provide what we can provide. And yes, we took a big hit last year. We were fortunate last year that there were several different government and foundational things in place that stepped up for local community organizations. So we were able to weather that and close that gap. However, coming into 2021, I'm much more concerned about 2021 than 2020 because, everyone's getting worn down, and things are, and there isn't as much available, as this goes away. And we don't know where we will return to on a fundraising level. So we hope that we get back to where we were and everything will be online and on that same trajectory, but you just don't know. And that's the biggest thing with fundraising that's difficult. You don't know until you walk out that night from that event or whatever it is, really where you stand, and you have to kind of budget and guess on it.
Right. So, like I said,
as far as being involved, we run multiple fundraisers. We're coming up on our two biggest fundraisers, our most important ones of the year. We have both in Kingston and Saugerties. We have an auction, which you can be involved in so many levels. You can take out an ad. You can be a major sponsor, which are huge in the success of our auction. Also, donating items, attending the event. There's a lot of different ways to be involved with the auction. If anyone's interested, you can call the club, email me. All my information on the website, which I'm sure we'll give at the end of this, like we usually do, Cam. There's a lot of different ways because
when are those auctions?
What's that?
When are the auctions?
Yep. So we have coming up. We have May 21st is our Saugerties auction, which will be at Diamond Mills Hotel and Tavern, and then July 22nd will be our Kingston auction, which is at the Chateau.
Okay. Well, so that's Saugerties. That's a little over a month away. That's around the corner.
Yep.
So
it's around the corner.
What? Go ahead.
No, it's just Dan. So those are your two primary fundraising vehicles.
Yeah, we run those are that's the chunk, right? Those are the ones that really, all right, this is where our year is headed, or this is where what the trajectory of our year. But we constantly are doing something to raise funds. We do our ticket sale, right? We sell raffle tickets. We sell poinsettias at the end of the year. We have steak and burger dinner, which is an awesome event toward the end of the year. The next month will be very, very busy with fundraising and trying to make sure that we can clear our year.
Dan, that's great. If someone wanted to just felt compelled that they wanted to, after listening to you today, that they just wanted to send in a small sum, where would they address that to?
Definitely, that's a great question. The main address for mail, our main mailing address for both clubs, is P.O. Box 2271. Kingston, New York, 12402. Again, that's P.O. Box 2271, Kingston, New York, 12402.
Now, could a person, say if a person lived in Saugerties, could they request that those funds be reserved for the Saugerties Club or vice versa, or is it just one blanket organization?
Whenever someone wants to donate, you want to make sure that it goes exactly to where they want, and also, even program-oriented, if it's after-school homework, if it's workforce development, if it's cooking, if it's, whatever service groups or Kingston Club, so whatever someone wants to have their funds allocated to, we make sure that is done.
Excellent. Good. Hey, do you know if you're going to be involved in the clean sweep at all on May?
Yes, we will be.
Excellent. That's great. That's another skill that our youth need to learn is the spirit of volunteerism and, service, clubs and service organizations are so desperate for members that get them out there in the spirit of community service is a wonderful example to learn.
Yeah, we do a lot of foundational stuff when we build here, but we make sure, like I said earlier, that we instill in our youth and all club members that as important as it is for them to build themselves up, it's just as important to help someone else. So, I mean, that's something we instill.
Yeah, community pride, and next time some kid's walking down the street, they might be a little bit less likely to throw their chip bag on the floor after, after you pick them up. So,
it's true.
Sometimes those life lessons are, hard to get through. So.
We're speaking with Dan Whalen, the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Ulster County, Kingston, and Saugerties. Dan, we're coming up against the clock a little bit, but you said you wanted to share with us your web address.
Yeah, if anyone wants to get in contact with the club, if you want to be, like I said, we have our two biggest fundraisers coming up, our auctions. If anyone thinks they could be involved one way or another, also, get involved as clubs start to come back, to regular mode, and as our population grows, volunteers are always needed, or just a business that wants to connect with the club or person that be involved. You can call the club at 845-338-8666. You can go to the website, which is www.bgclubsulstercounty.org, and all the other information is on there. You can also email me at dwhalen, WHALEN, at bgclubsulstercounty.org.
That's excellent. Again, all the information for the upcoming events that you're having and with the programming is all, I'm sure, all readily available on that website.
Yep, and Facebook page, yep.
Awesome. Oh, Facebook page also. There you go. Look them up on Facebook, and probably that's a lot of people find that as a shortcut way
adults.
of
kids have nothing to do with Facebook. That's for old
is that
folks.
True?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's Instagram or whatever for kids.
I don't know.
Insta.
Okay.
Yeah, Facebook is for old fuddy-duddies like us.
I see.
So,
well,
but the ones writing a check.
Speak for yourself.
The ones writing a check, exactly. All right. Well, Dan, thank you so much. Good luck with your changing schedule over the next couple of weeks. And you can tell us how you're doing when we talk in May. So
sounds good. Maybe. Hey, Brian, it's great talking to you, and maybe Nina will stop ducking me next week.
That's right.
Say hi to Harry for me.
Yeah,
I will.
You may see him more than you do. All right, cool. All right, Dan, why don't you take us to break?
Thank you, Cameron Rylance and Brian Woltman, and a very, very special thanks to Dan Whalen for calling in and updating us on Boys and Girls Club of Ulster County. And you are with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. It is 8 o'clock a.m., and it's Tuesday, April 13th, 46 degrees here in uptown Kingston. Sun and clouds mixed for today, high of 64, and tonight, some variable clouds and a low of 42. Wednesday, partly cloudy in the morning, then overcast in the afternoon, a 25% chance of rain Wednesday. And Wednesday night, the showers come. We have a 90% chance of rain Wednesday night, and it'll continue and go through the night with a low of 46 degrees. Thursday, 100% chance of periods of rain, high of 49. And Thursday night, the same 100% chance of rain with a low of 35. April showers. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Eleanor Arrow from the town of Ulster, And I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And we're back. Kingston Community Radio is supported by its listeners, and we thank you for all the contributions you give us throughout the year. You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. My name is Dan Gatis, and it is 8:02 a.m., and it's Tuesday, April 13th, and 46 degrees here in uptown Kingston. The call-in number is 331-9255 to be part of the conversation. Now let's get back to the on-air studio with Cameron Rylance and Brian Woltman, and our new guests, of course. But do we have any birthdays today?
Yeah, we have 2 birthdays we want to dispense with because we want to get right into our guests here. So, Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House, 62 Neal Street, cow pie giveaway. Today, my first, let me go for it. Ladies first here. So, well, not me, but April 13th, 2021. Please wish Amy Pettit a happy birthday. Have a wonderful day. Love from your family and friends.
And we have another birthday wish here for, please wish Josh Van Loan on April 13th a happy 38th birthday from Sue and Bill. And Josh, happy birthday to you.
All right, and we'll put these in our randomizer and come up with our winner. And congratulations, Josh Van Loan. There you go. I can't reach my cowbell.
Happy birthday to everyone who's having a birthday on the April the 13th.
So send in your announcements, and we'll read them on the air, and somebody's going to win. Every day somebody wins. So
I love it.
So, all right, let's get right on here. So, Carl Brown, good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning, Cameron. Good morning, Brian.
Brian, our faithful listeners will recognize Carl's dulcet tones. He's our monthly guest.
Yeah.
And I want you to introduce the guest you brought in because I am super psyched.
Yes, I have our world-renowned writer, Steve Hamilton, here with us. He has partnered with Janet Ivanovich on this new book, The Bounty, something very interesting. It's a story about, it's actually a thriller, basically, right?
Yeah, that's the idea.
About a train, a buried train, a Nazi buried train with gold in it. So without further ado, Steve, thank you so much for coming here and talking about this book. We are honored. We are honored. But
so you look quite modest, Steve, when Carl said world-renowned author. Come on,
to
man.
me, he's world-renowned.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I've met Steve through my dad, who
right.
have mutual family friends, and lucky enough to get a couple of 3 of Steve's books passed on through my dad. And so tell us. So you this is co-written with Janet?
Yeah, this is it's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having me here. You're welcome. This is very cool. It's always cool to come here and see you guys. And we go way back. I go way back with your family. I go way back
talking
with you.
about rec league,
we
IBM,
played
hoops,
basketball. I don't want to say how many years ago it was, but
locals can do the math. When IBM was open, they played basketball.
Yeah, right.
And what'd you call me when I came in?
Downtown Carl Brown, of course.
And I got a book actually autographed.
There you go. That fadeaway jumper. Downtown, right?
I don't know about that.
But, this is something I never thought I would do, write a book with somebody. But last year, as you all know, it was such a crazy, dark, upside down, on fire year. And it's like, do I want to write about murder and violence and death last year, and not that there's a little bit of this in here, but this is mostly just a fun, crazy book. It's just crazy. It's the most fun I've ever had. Janet had this crazy idea about this buried train and running around Europe and hanging from the Eiffel Tower and stuff. And it's like, it's like beyond James Bond.
So this is a pure work of fiction. This isn't based on some urban legend or anything.
I have not. No. I have not hung off the Eiffel Tower myself.
Good.
I don't know anybody who has. So this was just
your
sort of thriller, fantasy, crazy, running around.
Steve, is the story set in contemporary times?
Yes, it's set. Yeah, it's sort of vaguely contemporary. Although there's no COVID going on.
I see.
In this, that would be the last thing that I want to write about.
It's not a World War II.
No. This is a couple of characters that she invented actually years ago, and she wrote a few books about them. And it had been a while since she had done a book with them. and it was time to break them out
Kate
again.
O'Hara and Nick Fox.
Yeah, she's a FBI agent, and he's a con man that gets sort of roped into working with her. So they've had adventures in the past. So I got to sort of get to know these characters and then just take them on this wild ride.
Steve, I've always been curious when I read, particularly fiction. You see it quite commonly in works of nonfiction where authors collaborate.
Yeah.
What is the process like for an author to collaborate with another author in a book of fiction and telling a coherent story together?
In this case, I really just took her characters that she had already created, and I just made up the story.
I see.
And then I wrote the story.
I see.
And then she came in later and sort of helped me get the sort of the chemistry and the banter between because she knows the characters better than I ever could.
Well, a couple questions. So one, is she, did you know her prior to this?
Oh, yeah.
or-
Yeah, I mean, she's
Are
a...
you guys of similar caliber
She's
in
a
terms of sales? Or?
fixed. Well, no, I wish I was. She, she's got, I think, 25 number one
Bestsellers.
New York Times bestsellers.
Wow.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
wow.
she going back. She does the Stephanie Plum series is what she's best known for.
Oh, okay. Is she a detective?
Yeah, a bounty hunter.
Okay.
And it was a big series back in the 80s and 90s, and she's still going on them. She just did number 27, just came out last year.
So it's like Jack Reacher almost, or
Yeah, Lee's done, I don't know, 14, 15 of those, and of course he's not doing them anymore.
Now,
But
normally you have, I forgot the character's name, but Nick Mason is a detective in your, retired or...
Well, no, it's Alex McKnight.
or-
Alex McKnight is a retired cop in one of the series that I do, and then Nick Mason is a criminal who gets out. And,
that's what it
and
was,
basically
yes.
kills people So that's the kind of stuff. It's like, do I want to write about a guy running, killing people?
Now, is that character done? Are
No,
we-
no. It's
him,
I'm finishing up another one with him right now.
Wow.
But,
Now, when you write on these characters, do you get that from normal character people that you're around? You grab some
a little bit, yeah. You always do that as a writer. You always grab pieces of. I mean, maybe there's part of you in one of these.
Yeah. Oh boy.
There's going to be a character nicknamed Downtown.
If you ever see that, you'll know where it came from.
Now, do you write serially, or do you have things going on at once? Because you said last year you wrote this.
Yeah.
Being 2020, right?
Yeah.
And now you're just finishing up.
Yeah, but I'd already started. I already had that almost done, and it's just like, you know what? I just want to do something different. I want to take a break.
So you can walk away, put it, hit save.
I usually don't do that, but
compartmentalize like
I mean,
that.
last year was unlike anything. we all
Here to forget. Steve, for our listeners, why don't you give us a little bit about your background? Where you're from, and where you've gone to school? I see University
I
of
went to-
Michigan, and just some of your career writing.
I grew up in Michigan. Went to U of M. Came out to work for IBM in '83. I think.
IBM here in Kingston.
Yeah, when there was an IBM Kingston. And I stayed there through its closing in '95, I guess that was. And that's where I met Carl and played ball with Carl back in the day. I think I just gave away the years there. So you can do the math. But and then I worked at IBM Poughkeepsie for a while, and then I left there to become a full-time writer. It was time to... I did both for a long time.
And is it a challenge getting your books published? Is submitting your...
Yeah, it's always... I mean, that's always been a challenge. It's probably even more of a challenge now because the publishers keep buying each other out, and now there's like basically 4 publishers left. They keep merging, so there's really only like 4 big ones left now.
Hay House is one of them, right? Hay House is one of them.
Random House.
Yeah, it's Random.
Random House. Yeah, in fact, they and Penguin just merged, so it's just every time you turn around, it's like they just buy each other out.
And that business end of trying to get your books published and into the market, does that take time away that you would rather spend writing and doing?
It certainly can. I mean, I got lucky and I broke in 90, in the late 90s, and I sort of found a way in at the right time, and I've been very lucky since then. Right. I mean, but it is a grind, and it can be a real challenge.
Right. And obtaining a literary agent is probably difficult in and of itself, I would think.
It is, because they're sort of the gatekeepers now.
Right.
You really have to have one.
Although now, I guess, with the advent of self-publishing, I know people who've self-published books and done reasonably well with it.
Right. It's a tough road for fiction.
Right.
because a first-time novelist, nobody knows who you are, and it's hard to sell yeah.
Right. But I find it would be hard. An ex-programmer, even when we were programming.
Right.
At night when you go to sleep, it's hard to turn off a project. How do you do that? You can't. You got to eat, sleep this stuff, just like we did when we were programming, right?
That's right. I mean, we were at IBM. I did my first 12 books I wrote when I was with IBM.
Jeez.
And it would just be just like you said. I would come home and just switch into another gear. And
was that a way to get your head out of work, or
it kind of was
a hobby? I mean, some people collect stamps, some people build trains, whatever. Was that your hobby, or were you looking, say, to become professional?
That's what I wanted to do. And in a way, I could I look at it as a positive thing. It's like I had IBM to hold on to, and that was my rock.
Right,
and the writing, I could just let it come in its own time and in its own way. And I didn't have, so in both cases, I could just draw on the strength of the other. I didn't have to rely on IBM to be everything in my life. And I didn't have to rely on writing to pay all the bills. So I sort of...
Yeah, because that could probably be a little nerve-wracking.
That would have been rough.
Now, did you, Michigan, did you go there for computers? Did you go there for literacy or literature?
I sort of both.
English, whatever.
I graduated from Michigan knowing I wanted to be a writer.
Huh.
But I had a degree in computer science because it was 1983 and my dad was paying for college, and I wasn't going to go to him and say, I'm going to get an MFA, Dad.
And he was good at it because IBM at that time, we were doing some great recruiting. I mean, we were going all over campuses. That's how he got from Kingston to Michigan.
That's how I did. I worked for Poughkeepsie for a summer, and then I came back to Kingston, New York.
It's normally a process.
But that was a long time ago.
Now, did you know, you just wake up one day in 8th grade and said, I'm going to become an author? Or were you a reader? As a
of course,
kid or
of
something?
course.
I mean,
any writer is a reader. That's what definitely. That's how I grew up. And you can go back when I'm 8 years old and ask me what I want.
Can you say there was like one book or something that you read, or one author or something?
I can't remember ever not wanting to be a writer.
Really?
Huh. So I got to be what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I guess what he's trying to say is, what really interests you? Was it a Dickens novel? Was it a Hobbit, the trilogy?
I did
love the Hobbit.
Eat those things up. Yeah, but it was just it was mysteries when I was a kid. It was Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
It was that kind of stuff that it's like, man, someday I'm gonna just do that.
I used to like figuring out the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Toward the end, 'cause I had them all.
I had them. Me too.
And usually by about the 2/3 of the way through, you had an idea of what was going on.
Yep.
I kept pouring through to try to find out if I was right.
Those were great. Those were.
Yeah.
Do you the way you write? Like, do you wake up in the morning? Take a shower, cup of coffee, have scrambled eggs, and sit down at your desk, or do you? Is it regimented, or is it something you wake up in the middle of the night with an idea? Put your PJs on and start typing. Like what? How do you write?
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, I'm not as regimented as some people. I'm certainly not a morning writer. I know plenty of people who get up at the crack of dawn, like
Hemingway.
Yeah, I mean, sure. There's lots of guys I know.
I just saw the Ken Burns
do that.
documentary.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just watched that too.
He spoke of that. In the early, he did most of his writing in the early mornings.
Yeah, he did.
And then had the afternoons off for drinking, carousing,
drinking
and
and
doing other things.
That's
not a bad way to live.
That's not my life at all.
No.
I'll do more I'm more of an evening night guy. I'll be up till 2 or 3 most nights, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
When you're writing, or
when I'm writing it, when I'm in it, that's like I just can't turn it off. I got to keep going.
And you sit there in front of your favorite computer, or you get a typewriter, or you laptop.
Laptop these days, yeah.
But when you're writing, do you envision the ending? Is that the most hardest part of the book?
I've done it both ways, honestly.
Backwards,
I've done it where I just go like the lock artist and had no idea where it would end. And then I go, lately, these kind of books, you have to sort of know where it's going to...
You got to know where it's going.
You got to have some idea, yeah.
Well, just so our listeners know who we're chatting with, we have Carl Brown, and he brought in a special guest for us, Steve Hamilton, who's just collaborated with Janet Ivanovich on a new book titled The Bounty. We're chatting about that and the process of being an author.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve, if you don't mind my asking, do you work from an outline? Do you outline a story at the beginning, or
Again-
is it just is it a flow?
I've done it both ways again.
Uh-huh. Is there a way you prefer? Is there an easier way? Or?
Having an outline is easier.
I see.
Because then you're not lost, or you sort of know where you are. And but I think my favorite book was The Lock Artist, where I did about 10 years ago now, and that one I had no idea what I was doing. And I often thought that this is I'm so lost here. I've just ruined myself with this book. And
it turned out to be your favorite, though.
Kind of it is. I mean, it's the one that's sort of done the most for me, I think, in terms of just internationally.
Right.
Sales
in Japan and in the UK. And yeah.
Now, in mystery writing, is it ever a mystery to you as the story is evolving and developing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's I didn't see this one coming, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not a total whodunit kind of drawing room kind of mystery author. It's a pretty wide open field now. It's sort of crime fiction in general now. They would call it.
So, if you can tell the listeners just a little bit about this story. You mentioned it's a search for a pretended buried gold train.
That part is true, by the way, or that part is a real legend, by the way. That there's this train full of like $30 billion worth of gold that was hidden at the end of the war. That's underneath a mountain, and there are people who are looking for it.
What time is it? Because I think I'm going to
30 billion. Yeah, exactly.
Are you on your way?
Yeah, I think so.
Read the book. You might get some clues.
I got nothing better to do today.
So again, this was Janet. Janet and her son actually. I guess they were on a trip over there, and they came up with this crazy idea of getting their characters together and having them search for it. And so that's when they contacted me last year and said, "Hey, would you want to do this?" And I said. No, and like I said, normally I'd say no, thank you. But it was just the right time and the right place last year. It's like, you know what, this sounds like fun.
And if she's a pretty big,
she's as big as it gets. I mean, she really is. So I just like, you know what? Well, why not?
You know, my dad just texted me and said, "Ask Steve if there's any movie projects coming up or if your books ever been any."
Yeah, there's. I mean, Hollywood. You know, it sounds fun and exciting and glamorous, and it's a total grind out there, and it's really it's a tough place. But I've been out there. I spent 6 weeks last year out there, and there's always something going on, and there is stuff in the works. But you know, I just don't. I can't get wrapped up in that because it would just drive you crazy.
If it happens, it happens. I mean, isn't that potential huge payday? Like,
not
Tom Cruise is going to play one of your characters.
Only if they actually make the movie. If they just option it, which is usually what happens, then it's nice money, but it's not crazy money. It really isn't.
It get frustrating though, because once they buy the option or hold the option. Then it's there, so to speak. Whether they want to either green light it, make it, or if they're just going to maybe just tuck it on the shelf, and then maybe it blocks maybe someone else or maybe
it happens all the time. Or they can make the movie and it'll be horrible.
Right. Oh yeah, just not put the effort into it.
Janet has one movie made from her books. It was One for the Money, and it was a total bomb.
I never heard.
It was awful. I mean, so it's like you sort of feel funny. It's like, you know, do you really want that to happen?
But I don't think if you're going to be successful as an author, that can be your focus at all. It has
it
has to be on storytelling.
It can't, because and there's a lot of people who just get so wrapped up in that stuff.
It's focus on the story. I would think that's probably the creative reward that you get out of it. The fulfillment is just writing, is having good stories. I've heard authors speak a lot. Usually, I'm mostly a nonfiction biography nonfiction reader. But I've listened to authors speak quite often, and a lot of them say that the key to being successful at writing is writing. You have to, and a lot of them set themselves a goal that you have to do so much a day. Do you have something like that for yourself?
Yeah, when you're in a project, it has to be every day.
Right.
You can't let it go.
Even if it's a little bit a day.
Yes. And you sort of know if you've done enough. I mean, it's usually, but you have to come back to it every day, and you have to show up every day.
Is it a feeling of flowing that?
Yeah, and if you stop it, then you really risk sort of disrupting that, and it's not something you can just turn on and off. It's when it's time to work. I mean, it's really hard work. It can be on its best days, which don't happen that often. It just comes, but
for the two main characters, did you have to read several of Janet's
I had to
books
catch up a little bit. I mean, there was a little bit of a time crunch, so I honestly didn't have time to really go through all of it. I had to sort of learn on the fly a little bit. But that's where having her involved was good, because she could really help me with that part.
Awesome.
And I think one of the neatest parts about reading a couple of your books was just the local things, Kennard and
right.
The bus station,
the
bus station on Broadway, and talking about the railroad tracks, and I think that's totally cool, because whatever. Do you have any more of that upcoming?
That was one book called Night Work that was actually set here in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
It was set.
And it was like so cool to see,
Yeah.
the rest of the guys eating at Kennard and
Yeah, right. Looking at it, and
wasn't that back in 2011?
It was.
2013?
It was a while
the first
ago.
ones my dad borrowed.
I think it was even earlier than that. It was
Earlier
like
than that, yeah.
it was 2008 or 9.
It's talking about Kingston and
Yeah, and I'll still go into Le Canard, and and Jean-Jacques still owns the place, and he certainly knows me very well now, and it's like there's a murder table there now, because there's a table where these two characters in the book sat, and that's pretty much the last time that you see them both alive, because the next time you see them, one of them's dead. So that's sort of like the famous murder. So if you ever go into Le Canard, ask for the murder table.
the murder table.
Oh, that's an insight.
There you go, Dan. You got to
Maybe
find out.
ask not to be sat at the murder table.
It's up to you.
I've been there 5 years, and I don't know the murder table.
The murder table. There you go.
Where's the murder table?
You'll have to read the book.
Right by the window. It's
Will
right,
do.
It's the two top right by the window.
Oh, there you go. I've
that's
sat there.
table
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
That's table one.
And you survived.
Unbelievable.
So, Steve, a book like this that's obviously set in Europe.
Yeah.
To familiarize yourself with the setting, did you travel to Europe and go to some of the sites
I
that you read
sure
about?
wish I could have done that. Yeah, that would have been fine. Some of it, I've been to a couple of the places. Through Germany, but I have not been to the Eiffel Tower, I'm afraid. Mm-hmm. I've not been to Austria. I've not been to Italy.
So a lot of this had to come from your imagination.
A lot of it did, yeah.
And it's a La Canard, though.
Look, I've been to Le Canard, yeah.
So have I. Some great Kingston establishment.
Next best thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It really is.
How can people get your book?
Go to a bookstore.
Is
it's
it
everywhere.
online
Yeah, I
too,
mean,
Amazon?
it's everywhere. I mean, now and I'm sure the local bookstores, and I say that knowing that the Barnes and Noble is sort of is kind of in flux now.
Yeah.
If they're really going to come back, and
Does Amazon still sell books anymore? They sell everything else, but I mean,
you know
it
what?
started as a
Amazon, they did, and they sell roughly half of all books in the country still.
Really? Wow. They sell half of everything.
That's how I first came in contact with Amazon. It was
buying books.
Yeah, me too.
Books,
Yeah. I was.
My wife's on there as like college textbooks. Like,
no, I don't know how it's.
It was just books. The reason that they started with books is because every book has a barcode on the back, and they're easy to sell. They're easy to track electronically, so that's why he chose it. It could have been pizza, but this is easier, so that's how he started. But he
require refrigeration.
He did a great job with it, obviously, and
Sure he did. I remember first coming into contact with
Yeah.
through books, because a lot of the books I was interested in reading were very
Exactly.
difficult to find here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just when
Nonfiction
I
and
first
stuff,
got my first home computer, I would.
yeah, me
And
too.
online.
That's how I did too.
Now, do you envision any more, Janet, or collaboration?
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, I mean, I'm working on this stuff now, but I if you had asked me a couple of years ago, I said I would never do something like that with somebody else.
Right.
But now it's like, you know what? It was so much fun at the right time, so I would never say no to anything.
Yeah.
Well, just so our listeners know who we have in the studio with us this morning, we have Carl Brown, and Carl Brown's brought in a special friend, Steve Hamilton. He's the co-author of a brand new, soon-to-be #1 bestseller of the New York Times bestseller, co-authored with Janet Ivanovich. It's entitled The Bounty. It sounds like a great mystery thriller, And I'm definitely gonna be reading it and making appointments. It's next on my list as soon as I finish the grind of a book that I'm going through now. But we'll leave that alone. Every once in a while I set myself up on a project book. It's well over 1,000 pages. It's like, oh boy.
Project.
Yeah, it's a
Steve,
project
you
book.
The book you're reading. I know.
It's a book on. It's the first one. It's a series of related to the rise of conservatism in the U.S. Through Barry Goldwater.
Right.
And it's
back in the 60s, right?
yeah, it's set in the early 60s.
Right.
But,
So another little avenue here too that's available. I got a text from our mutual buddy here. They just downloaded it from Audible. So that's that's an option too. Ebooks.
And there's a really great reader who does the audiobook.
Anyone
really
famous or
great.
just
It's just somebody who's great. He's somebody who's just one
heard
of the best. I've heard a little bit of it.
I've looked at a little bit of it also because you can go online. If you look at it, you can get a video presentation of the book,
There's
which
a
is
little,
really
there's a little
nice.
trailer that they did for it.
Yeah, you're thinking it's going to be a movie. It's
I
awesome.
know.
And
Really?
Then they had an audible piece,
Right.
And then you had a digital piece, which
And there's an ebook,
basically-
and
yeah.
there's the
So that's a Kindle or the ebooks. It's all
everywhere.
platforms.
Steve, just
Have you guys-
considering distribution, you inferred that you have quite a good market in Japan. Does that mean that there's a facility to be translating your book into other languages?
Yeah, other
through
publishers
your publisher.
will. That's up to them. They will contact the American publisher, and that just happened to be the Lock Artist for whatever reason, and who knows, that's just happened to be a big hit in Japan.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's like this abstract thing. I've never been to Japan.
Yeah, sure.
So exactly. It's like Spinal Tap. With,
we're big in
But
Japan.
but here and there,
Sex Farm just hit number 4 in Japan. Or something, and it's,
here and there, your books are translated.
yes, they are, and so I'll get these copies of books. That's like one of the funnest things. You get the Japanese version, or the Chinese, or
that's very cool.
the German
That's very
or French
exciting.
or
Yes,
whatever.
absolutely.
Or if it's Arabic, it's backwards, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they go
but
left to right. Or
Chinese does, yeah.
Whatever. So you have. I did ask, but the works you have going on, are you thinking about keeping your characters alive?
Yeah.
That's,
I mean,
he's your man, right? He's
I'll keep going back to. I'll do at least one more with Nick Mason, and then Alex McKnight. He was the one. My first 7 books were all with one guy. As a retired cop who was living in very remote, very remote part of Michigan, which is it's a very special place, and
which I'd love to go. I'm reading your, the between the reservations and the distance and the loneliness, the arboreal forests up there. So I want to go because I'm reading your book. So. Well, unfortunately, we got to go. Steve, thank you so much. Carl, thank you so much for dragging him in.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it. And we got to go to break.
And thank you, Cameron Rylance, and thank you, Brian Woltman, and a very, very special thanks to Steve Hamilton coming in to talk about his new book, The Bounty. And also a very special thanks for Carl Brown, community activist extraordinaire. You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. It's Tuesday, April 13th, and this last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club, serving the Kingston-Ulster County area since 1941. Call them at 901-9067. And the previous portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you also by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, main office, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston. And Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast for Kingston and the surrounding area today, sun and clouds mixed, a high of 64. And tonight, variable clouds, low of 42. Wednesday, partly cloudy in the morning, then overcast in the afternoon, 25% chance of rain. Wednesday night, showers early, becoming a 90% chance of rain late, and a low of 46. Thursday, 100% chance of periods of rain, high 49. Thursday night, 100% chance of rain also, and a low around 35. Again, this last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club, serving the Kingston-Ulster County area since 1941. Call them 901-9067, and we'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223 CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Eleanor Arrow from the town of Ulster, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
And we're back. You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. Tuesday, April 13th, and 46 degrees here in uptown Kingston. And let's get back to the on-air studio. Oh, by the way, we have a wonderful underwriter. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and our community, with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Now let's get back to the on-air studio with Cameron Rylance and...
that guy, him.
That guy over there.
Yeah, why did I space that for a second?
right.
Brian, of course I know you.
So,
I space out with that too sometimes, Dan. Trust me when I tell you.
Okay, thank you,
All
Brian.
right.
Thank you for letting me off.
Our newest guest is joining us on the phone, and Eleanor Minsky. Good morning. You are, I'm assuming you're with Sue in the Office of the Aging, right?
By the way,
yes,
Sue
I am. Good morning, everyone.
Good
morning, Eleanor.
And Sue will be coming in. She's on her way. She just said that she'll be here in person
All right.
in a few minutes, and we have Eleanor on the
All
line.
right. So, Eleanor, good morning. Welcome to Kingston Community Radio. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
All right. So, is there something in particular you'd like to talk to us about?
Yes, there is. I want to tell your listeners that we are having a special Medicare Zoom presentation, and it's going to happen on Wednesday, April 28th at noon. And your people, I know some of them say, Zoom, I don't know about that. So I'm going to tell you that they will be able to listen and ask questions on their telephone. They will be able to call in to the Zoom presentation.
So that's
if
Eleanor.
they have any Medicare questions.
Eleanor, so I can just jump in real quick. Let's be clear for everybody that's listening. They don't necessarily have to have access to a computer that day. They can actually, there's a phone number then that they can call in and participate in that manner, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
that's
good.
correct. And
That's
let me
good.
tell you a little bit about what I'll be talking about.
Sure.
So many people are confused about Medicare. Their mailboxes get stuffed at the end of the year when it's open enrollment, and they just get so confused because they're trying to sell them something. But for the Office for the Aging, as you know, we give clear, unbiased information. We do not sell insurance. We're just there to help you with your Medicare issues, whatever they may be. And for this particular program, I am going to tell them how they can save money every month on their Medicare Part B premiums if they're financially eligible, and for their prescription drugs, how they can get help with their premiums and co-pays at the drugstore. So it's a very important program for them to be part of in our Zoom presentation or telephone, whichever they prefer.
Now, Eleanor, when you say people can save money every month, what kind of money are we talking potentially here?
We're talking that $144 that they pay out right off the top of their Social Security every month for Part B. Now, if they don't get Social Security, then they get a bill quarterly for this $144.80 every single month. And this is a national, federal program. So perhaps they might not be financially eligible, but they may have a relative that lives in another state or in another county other than Ulster County. And this information will still be wonderful for them to have, so that those people that they know could save money every single month.
Yeah. Now, Eleanor, what is it? Is this something you have to register for, or is it just open to the general public? And then we should...
Our presentation, yes, they will have to register, and I'm going to give them the number, and then they can go and get a pencil and paper so they can write our number down. But it's a very easy number to remember. We're in 845, we know that, then 340-3456.
3456.
Yes, easy. 340-3456, and then our person will speak to them and register them for this Zoom presentation that's going to take place Wednesday, April 28th at noon.
Yeah, Eleanor Sue just
Hey,
joined
Eleanor.
us live in the studio.
Hi, Sue.
How are you? Thanks for going on without me. I just wanted to add to what she just said. If you don't have the capabilities of Zoom, you can still call in to a presentation like this and be part of the presentation and hear it and be able to ask questions over the phone. So you do not need to have, a camera on your computer or anything.
Or even have computer access for that matter.
Right, you can just call in. We will give you the number. We're happy to do that. So it would be accessible for everyone with a phone.
And Sue, I'm sorry, your last name?
Koppenhaver.
Sue Koppenhaver has joined us here in the studio. And Sue, you are...
I'm the director of the Office for Aging in Ulster County, and
Very
Eleanor is one of our contractors who helps us all year long. Either doing presentations, signing people up for the Medicare Savings Plan program. She's part of our HICAP program, which is the health insurance information and counseling program that we have. All to do with Medicare, signing up for Medicare, changing your plans. And what Eleanor specifically does is this savings plan for folks who have a lower income level.
Now, may I ask, what age should a person be if they're interested? Do they necessarily have to already be a participant in Medicare, or it could be someone that maybe is going to be on the cusp of Medicare? Maybe I'm going to become eligible for it in the next year or so. What's primarily, who would you like to see participate in this forum on Wednesday, April the 28th?
Eleanor, take it away.
I would like to see anyone who is about to be part of Medicare, because I want to save them that money from the start.
65.
That's 65 is when you...
65,
the age.
So if a
65
64-year-old
or
person...
there's a Social Security disability
Yeah, you can
of
be
any age.
You can be younger than 65 but be permanently disabled.
Correct.
to be-
But in an ordinary circumstance, it's 65. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Social Security is, where you get your retirement,
Right.
but you have to wait for that longer. Me as a baby boomer has to wait not till I'm 65, but later, after 66 and a half or something.
To get your full benefit.
Well, the longer you wait, the more you get, right?
Correct.
But I really don't want to work till 70. Don't listen to that, Pat Ryan. But 65 is the Medicare date.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's for everybody.
Yeah.
Regardless.
If you've paid into the Medicare
Right,
system,
if you paid in.
some people have not.
That's true. But if you, assuming you have paid into the system, it's 65 regardless of when you were born. Like in my example, I would need to be 67 to obtain my full Social Security benefit, which I know I'm not going to make that to. I'm going to be taking mine a little earlier. Yeah, that's at least that's my plan now. Plans can change though. So, but my plan as we sit here today is to do that. So, Eleanor, how did you get involved in this work that you do?
How did I get involved?
Yes.
Is that what you... Well, I started out by volunteering with the HICAP program, which is our Medicare counseling program. People call in for an appointment, and then they get a one-on-one appointment with a certified Medicare counselor. And so I took the training and became a volunteer. And I did that for about 2 years, and then I was asked to do this program where I explain what the Medicare Savings Program is, and that's the program that I've been talking about, where you save your Part B Medicare premium. And also, along with this, and this is new information, along with the Medicare Savings Program, you also become automatically eligible for what's called Extra Help. And that's a program that helps you with your prescription drug program premiums and co-pays at the drugstore. So this is a very powerful program, and very few people know about this. So that's what I do. I used to go around to everywhere in the county, but now, of course, we're limited to because of COVID. So I can do these presentations for people on the phone or on Zoom.
And we have one upcoming on Wednesday, April the 28th at 12 noon.
That's right.
A Zoom conference which can be obtained via on your computer. You can sign in, or you can call in. And Eleanor gave us this number earlier: 845-340-3456. That's the Ulster County Office for the Aging, and that's where a person could get the information needed to register for this event. Correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Wonderful.
So another point about the age of Medicare, our Medicare counselor who coordinates the whole HICAP program does encourage people that they start looking into your enrollment before you turn 65, a few months before. So just to be prepared, it's complicated. You have this program that Eleanor does. All of the counselors have to be trained throughout the year because things change, levels change. Part D, the drug benefit plans change. The Medicare Advantage plans change the way that their plans look all the time. So they have to be constantly up on this. We have several counselors who do this as volunteers. Eleanor is not a volunteer right now, and neither is Bob, who coordinates the program, but we have many people in the office who volunteer for that out in the community. Hopefully when things open up again, people will be coming back in the office and being able to, have their meetings with.
Just for, I guess, for my clarification, why not? So you have Medicare, right? That's a policy. Now these other Part B, Part D, Part thing, these are all add-ons, like for extra fee? Is that how that works?
If I could say something right now, and this is a wonderful lead-in that you've given me, people do not understand how Medicare works.
I have no idea.
Nope. They have no idea. And believe me, I get calls from, people who have been through college and their doctors, lawyers. Nobody knows. So I first start out with just a basic Medicare 101 to just explain to people how the thing works. Then I get into how they can save money on their Part B premium, and then I also talk about this extra help and the money that they can save on their prescription drugs. I also tell them about the high cap program. That's the Medicare counseling, where they have a one-on-one appointment with a counselor who can answer their questions. And of course, for this program that I'm giving, they can ask all the questions they want, and I will answer them. And I also go into a New York State program called EPIC, and that is also a co-payment assistance program for Part D premiums and deductibles and their co-pays. So I explain all of that in this program.
So just for a 2-minute elevator speech, and I'm going to go through this quickly just so people can understand, the complications here. Medicare was designed as a program that covers people when they're older, but it covers skilled services. So Medicaid, people get Medicare and Medicaid confused all the time. Medicaid is for impoverishment. Okay, it covers everybody, all ages, but if you are below a certain income level, you can qualify for Medicaid. That's for anybody. Medicare covers skilled services. So when you go in the hospital, let's say you're 65, you break your leg, right? You go in the hospital, Part A covers your hospital stay, and if you have to go to rehab, God forbid, you have to end up in a nursing home for rehab, it'll pay for 20 days in a skilled nursing rehab, and then after day 21, you have to pay a copay. But Medicare is designed. It's pretty strict around what it covers. Skilled services like hospital, rehab, things that need licenses to make you better. Mm-hmm. A doctor, a PT, a nurse, anything like that. It is not a maintenance program. People say, "Well, I have Medicare. I can get an aide at home to help me bathe." Nope, it won't work. It just doesn't. It isn't designed that way. Rehab,
like catastrophic things.
Well, it's for things that you need a skill for. So you need a skill to make you better after you've broken your leg. You need a skill when you have end-stage renal disease because you have to get dialysis 3 days a week. And you need a skill when you're on hospice because there's a lot of drugs and a lot of medication management on hospice. And those are the main 3 programs that Medicare covers that we pay into. Mm-hmm. Medicare Part B is something you pay for. That's what Eleanor was talking about, and that's your doctor deductible. That's your outpatient, your PT in the community. That's your doc that you go to. Medicare Part D was invented during the Bush administration to cover the drug benefit. So there is other parts to Medicare, but I won't go into them because not a lot of people have them, and it's complicated. But Part B, you have to pay for. You pay for everything, right? Yeah. You can't get away. There's no free lunch.
Now, Eleanor or Sue, Eleanor, whoever,
go ahead.
These are annual things, right? So once you sign up for something, you're stuck with it for a whole year, correct?
Well, that depends. And that's some of the things that I will go into, but it's very complicated. The way I like to explain it is if you're wearing a red sweater on Tuesday, one thing applies. If you're wearing a green sweater on Tuesday, something else might apply. So you have to go into the nitty-gritty and have independent, clear, unbiased information to understand where you personally stand and what your situation is.
Yeah, there's no cookie cutter to this. Do you have a call?
Oh, yeah, we have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with my KCR.
Good morning. I have the, well, of course, I have the Medicare and everything. I get extra help.
Yes.
I only pay $3 on my prescriptions, and it doesn't matter how much I pay on it. You know what?
Oh, that's wonderful.
I have
Yes.
Epic, and I also have the, like I said, the extra help on it.
Yes.
And I don't have to pay my Medicare. That is
Okay.
paid for me.
So you're on the savings program. Excellent.
Yeah, and I've been on it, for quite a while, and it's really very helpful. I also have United Healthcare, because I don't pay any copay when I go to a doctor.
Uh-huh.
The only thing is with that, it's going up again this year. It's going to go up another $17. I have the F plan.
She's
So,
on a Medicare
I don't pay
Advantage plan.
anything when I go to a doctor or anything like that, and it doesn't matter if it's a specialist or not.
Uh-huh.
But I keep getting all these things from Medicare to take an Advantage plan.
Yes.
And I think I would be better off staying with what I have than changing.
I am so happy that you called and asked this question because so many people call me and they say the same thing. Because they get these advertisements, they think they're going to be saving all this other money or get these other added benefits or whatever it is, and they get very confused. And when that happens, I want your listeners to call us at the HICAP line. That's a different phone number. Because I'm on the HICAP line myself when people call in, just like yourself, and I explain to them the difference between the Medicare Advantage plans that they're trying to sell and the program that you're on, which is a supplemental plan which covers more benefits. And I just go into that and explain that. But it's very confusing to the person that's getting all this information either on the TV or in the mail. And so they should call this number. I hope you have your pencils handy. 845-340-3579. And that is the Medicare counseling line. And it'll be Bob or it'll be me answering the phone and getting back to you and listening to your questions that are individual and apply to only you. And so for somebody like yourself, I would say you are in great shape. You have your Part B premium given back to you. You're on extra help, which helps you with your premiums. When you go into the drugstore, you only pay $3 or $7 for the most expensive, like an inhaler or insulin, $7 when you're on this program. Plus, you also have that safety net of the state program, EPIC, and that's called extra help when you get your prescription drugs.
Excellent.
Get
All
low
right.
income on
Hey,
that.
Eleanor.
One thing, I was like, hold on, Sue, if you don't mind. So did that answer your question, caller? Is that you all set?
Okay, but I'd be better off sticking with what I have there. Okay, another thing I'm getting to, and I believe this is I'm getting scam calls.
We're all getting scam calls.
Every day.
I am,
Every day.
and if somebody who's been calling, and very annoying, because one time when this person called, I hung up on them, and they called me right back. And wanted to know why I hung up on them.
Hang up or don't even answer.
Don't
in the
answer.
first
If
place.
you don't recognize the number, don't even answer it.
Yep, that's the best advice. Evelyn, thank you so much for calling in. It's really always great to hear from you. And have a wonderful day up there in Saugerties.
Yeah, thanks, you too, and thanks for again. It's good having you back on the air again and hearing your voice.
That's very kind of you.
Okay, take care, and thanks for all your help and information.
All right.
Bye, Evelyn.
All right. See that, Eleanor? You're helping people before you even get to work today.
So one more time, let's go over because we're up
HICAP
against
number.
the top of the hour. Eleanor Minsky called in today, and we have Sue. I'm sorry, I didn't write your name down. Koppenhaver. I beg your pardon.
Irish
All right.
From the Ulster County Office of the Aging, one of near and dear to my heart for how they handled my parents when they were
Thank God.
when they were there. It was wonderful. It was just that agency will always have a special room in my heart. And again, we're talking today about a special event. It's a Medicare Zoom presentation. session, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 28th at 12 noon. Very convenient hour. Have your lunch and follow in. And you can access or register for this upcoming Medicare Zoom presentation from Eleanor Minsky by calling 845-340-3456. And I would urge anyone who's in the age bracket and eligible for this to definitely make a point, if they can, register for this and get as many of your questions answered as possible. And just sounds like a wonderful opportunity for folks.
We've been doing Zoom all year, since COVID started.
I think that's going to continue.
I do too, but I also hope we are
I hope so.
also bringing people back. One more very brief point.
Absolutely.
If I have a second. Our office this is not about Medicare. Our office now has the ability to make direct appointments for vaccines at the old Best Buy location. So if any seniors are listening who still need an appointment and who can get up there or who can arrange for UCAT to give you a free ride to the Hudson Valley Mall, please call our office at 845-340-3456 and tell them that you need an appointment for a vaccine, and we will take care of it on the spot.
Do you know anything about homebound people?
Yes, I'm actually keeping that list, and we've turned over 4 lists to the Department of Health who are calling people in the community, making the appointments, and bringing the Johnson & Johnson to them.
Excellent. All right.
I have my appointment Friday for my second vaccine.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm going 25th is mine. So, Eleanor, we have to go in a minute, but thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for all the valuable information, and thanks for being on KCR. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed
Eleanor.
All right. And Sue, thank you so much
Thank
for
you guys
arranging
for
that.
having me.
And,
that was
sail
fun,
in and
Cameron.
sail out.
yeah, keep up the good work.
All right.
So, that's about it. A terrific Tuesday. The sun-
Cameron, thanks for having me join you today.
I'm
It's a
glad
pleasure,
you were an able pinch hitter. So awesome.
I don't think I know you.
Well,
after air. So Dan, thank you. It was awesome. Terrific Tuesday in the books. Thank you very much. And listeners, we'll see you next Tuesday.
get out there. It's a beautiful day.
Thank you. And that is Brian Woltman sitting in here for Nina Poshapak today on a terrific Tuesday. And, of course, Cameron Rylance. And we thank all of the guests today. We have had Dan Whalen from the Boys and Girls Club, Ulster County, Carl Brown, Community Action, and Steve Hamilton, novel writer, The Bounty, and Eleanor Minsky of HiCap and Office for the Aging, Sue Koppenhaver. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we also want to thank all of our underwriters today. Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston, Kingston Lions Club, and also Rondout Savings. Rondout Savings, always working for you in the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, also online at rondoutbank.com. We thank you so much for being with us at KCR AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and our live streaming on mykcr.org. We wish you a fantastic day, and until tomorrow at 7 a.m., we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. We now return you to Magic 92.5.
Wants to be the first to say goodbye. Every time I find the nerve, every time I find the nerve to say I'm leaving. Oh, memories, those old memories. Escucha el ritmo de tu corazón. Feel the rhythm. From the coast of Ipanema to the island of Capri, all the way to Kuala Lumpur, I will follow you wherever you may be. From the moment I first saw you, knew my heart could not be free. I have to hold you in my arms now. There can never be another for me. All I need is a rhythm divine. Lost in the music, your heart will be mine. All I need is to look in your eyes. Viva la musica, say you'll be mine. Can you feel the heat of passion? Can you taste our love, sweet wine? Join the dance and let it happen. Tomorrow scares right out of your mind. As the music draws you closer and you fall under my spell, I will get you in my arms now. What the night can take us, no one can tell. All I need is a rhythm divine. Lost in the music, your heart will be mine. All I need is to look in your eyes. Viva la musica, say you'll be mine. Gonna have this feeling forever. Gonna live this moment together. Nothing else matters, just you and the night. Follow on the wings of desire. Now the rhythm's taking you higher. No one can stop us from having it all. You are my heart. You are my soul. All